immediately. श्री किरण रिजिजू जी।
सर, जब से ये हमारा मानसून सेशन शुरू हुआ, इस तरह का नारा ये लगाते रहते हैं और 3 दिन से कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला को सम्मानित करने के लिए चर्चा के लिए बिजनेस में लीज तय किया गया है। ये बहुत दुख की बात है। हमारा देश का नायक जिन्होंने अंतरिक्ष में यात्रा करके भारत का झंडा को लहरा के आया, उनको सम्मानित करने का भी मौका नहीं दिया है विपक्ष के लोगों ने। ये बहुत ही शर्मनाक बात है। आप लोग बाहर में जाकर के आप देखिए कितना खराब लगता है आपका ये हरकतें, दुनिया हंसता है। अब स्कूल के बच्चे भी बोलने लग गए हैं कि मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट ऐसा बिहेव करता है क्या? आप सोचिए, शांति दिमाग से सोचिए। सरकार का बिजनेस तो हम पारित करके रहेंगे। देश का हक में, समाज का हक में जो काम हमको करना है, देश के लोगों ने दायित्व दिया है, हम काम करेंगे। लेकिन हंगामा करने से नुकसान होता है तो आप लोगों का ही होता है। यह सदन सबका है, मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट का है। इसमें सबसे ज्यादा नुकसान नए मेंबर्स ऑफ पार्लियामेंट विपक्ष के साथियों को होता है। आप लोग सोचता है कि हंगामा करने से कुछ फायदा होगा। जो ज्यादा हंगामा करेगा जनता उसको पूरा नकार देगा। आप लोग कोई सहानुभूति प्राप्त करने वाला नहीं है। इसलिए मैं पुनः आग्रह करता हूँ, आप लोग चर्चा में भाग लीजिए, बिल्स के डिस्कशन में भाग लीजिए। कैप्टन शुभांशु शुक्ला को सम्मानित देने में साथ दीजिए। आपके माध्यम से मैं फिर अनुरोध करना चाहता हूँ सर।
लोग देख रहे हैं।
Members, I request all you all to go and sit in your respective chairs. House is adjourned to meet again at 2 p.m. today.
आपको सपने देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, तो मालूम है कि ये पॉसिबल है।
मैंने जो आपको होमवर्क कहा था तो उसका क्या प्रोग्रेस हुआ है?
और आपसे बात करते वक्त सर पीछे जो
ये जंग तिरंगा लगाया था,
ये वही तिरंगा है सर।
और आप मूंग और मेथी का प्रयोग तो क्या है?
बहुत अच्छा है सर। मेरे रूममेट जो मेरे साथ थे साइन करवा के लिख के लेके गए कि जब भी आपका घर चाहेगा आप हमें इन्वाइट करेंगे लॉन्च के लिए, जल्दी से जल्दी हमें आपके व्हीकल में बैठ के जाना।
आप लोग जब इतनी बड़ी यात्रा करके वापस पहुंचते हैं,
जी सर,
काफी कुछ चेंज फील होता होगा। जब मैं समझना चाहता हूँ कि वो किस प्रकार से अनुभव करते हैं आप लोग।
सर जब ऊपर भी जाते हैं तो वहाँ का जो वातावरण है, एनवायरनमेंट है, वो अलग है, ग्रेविटी नहीं है।
आप जाते हैं उसमें तो सीटिंग अरेंजमेंट वैसा ही रहता है जो, और पूरे 23-24 घंटे उसी में निकालना पड़ता है।
हाँ सर, लेकिन एक बार जब आप अंतरिक्ष में पहुंच जाते हैं तो आप सीट खोल के अपना हार्नेस खोल के आप उसी कैप्सूल में आप मूव अराउंड आप जा सकते हैं, इधर उधर चीजें कर सकते हैं।
कितनी जगह है उसमें?
बहुत तो नहीं है सर, लेकिन थोड़ी बहुत है।
मतलब आपका फाइटर जेट का कॉकपिट है उससे तो ज्यादा अच्छा है।
उससे ज्यादा अच्छा है। बट पहुंचने के बाद सर काफी कुछ चेंजेस होते हैं, जैसे पूरा आपका हार्ट स्लो हो जाता है, तो वो कुछ बदलाव होते हैं और वो फिर लेकिन 4-5 दिन में बॉडी आपकी यूज टू हो जाती है, वहाँ आप नॉर्मल हो जाते हैं। और फिर जब वापस आते हैं तो फिर वही दोबारा से वही सारे चेंजेस आप मतलब चल नहीं सकते वापस आते हैं, तो चाहे आप कितने भी स्वस्थ हो। मुझे बुरा नहीं लग रहा था, मैं ठीक था, लेकिन फिर भी जब पहला कदम रखा तो मैं मतलब गिर रहा था तो लोगों ने पकड़ रखा था मुझे। फिर दूसरा तीसरा, हालांकि मालूम है कि चलना है, लेकिन वो ब्रेन जो है वो उसको टाइम लगता है सर वापस समझने में कि अच्छा अब ये नया एनवायरमेंट है, नया वातावरण है।
यानी सिर्फ बॉडी का ट्रेनिंग नहीं है, माइंड का ट्रेनिंग ज्यादा है।
माइंड का ट्रेनिंग है सर, बॉडी में ताकत है, मांसपेशियों में ताकत है, लेकिन वो ब्रेन की रीवायरिंग होनी है, उसको दोबारा से ये समझना है कि ये नया एनवायरमेंट है। अब इसमें आपको चलने के लिए इतनी ताकत लगेगी या इतना एफर्ट लगेगा, वो वापस से समझते हैं सर।
सबसे ज्यादा समय से वहाँ कौन था, कितने समय का?
इस समय सबसे ज्यादा समय लोग एक टाइम पे करीब 8 महीने तक लोग रह रहे हैं सर। इसी मिशन से शुरू हुआ है कि 8 महीने तक रहेंगे।
अभी वहाँ जो लोग मिले आपको,
उनमें से कुछ लोग हैं जो कि दिसंबर में वापस आए।
और आपका मूंग और मेथी का प्रयोग का क्या है?
बहुत अच्छा है सर। मैं इस बात से बहुत सरप्राइज था कि लोगों को इसके बारे में पता नहीं था, इन चीजों के बारे में। फूड बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है सर एक स्पेस स्टेशन पे। जगह कम है, कार्गो महंगा है, आप कम से कम जगह में ज्यादा से ज्यादा कैलोरी और न्यूट्रिशन आपको पैक करने की हमेशा कोशिश रहती है, और हर तरह से प्रयोग चल रहे हैं सर। और इनको उगाना बहुत सिंपल है, बहुत ज्यादा रिसोर्स नहीं चाहिए स्पेस में। छोटा सा एक आप डिश में थोड़ा सा पानी डाल के उनको छोड़ दीजिए और वो बहुत अच्छे से 8 दिन बाद वो स्प्राउट होना शुरू हो गया। तो स्टेशन में मुझे देखने को मिले। तो हमारी जो ये टिपिकल जो हमारे कंट्री की ये जो सीक्रेट्स हैं, मैं बोलूंगा सर, जैसे ही हमें ये मौका मिला कि हम माइक्रोग्रेविटी रिसर्च में पहुंच पाए, ये वहां पहुंच गए। और क्या पता कि ये हमारी फूड सिक्योरिटी प्रॉब्लम को सॉल्व करें, क्योंकि एस्ट्रोनॉट्स के लिए तो एक तरह से है ही सर स्टेशन में, लेकिन अगर वहां सॉल्व होती है तो ये पृथ्वी पे भी लोगों के लिए फूड सिक्योरिटी की प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने में हमारी मदद कर सकती है।
पहला एक बार कोई भारतीय आया तो भारतीय को देख करके उनके मन में क्या रहता है, क्या पूछते हैं, क्या बात करते हैं कि बाकी जो दुनिया के देश के लोग होते हैं?
मेरा पर्सनल अनुभव जो रहा है सर पिछले 1 साल में, मैं तो जहां भी गया, जिससे भी मिला, सभी लोग बहुत खुश हुए मुझसे मिलके, बहुत एक्साइटेड थे बात करने में, आके मुझसे पूछने में कि मतलब आप लोग क्या कर रहे हैं, कैसे कर रहे हैं। और सबसे बड़ी बात ये थी कि सबको इसके बारे में मालूम था कि भारत स्पेस के क्षेत्र में क्या कर रहा है, सबको इस बारे में जानकारी थी। और सब मुझसे ज्यादा तो कई लोग थे जो गगनयान के बारे में इतना एक्साइटेड थे, जो आके मुझसे पूछ रहे थे कि आपका मिशन कब जा रहा है। एंड मेरे ही क्रूमेट जो मेरे साथ थे मुझसे साइन करवा के लिख के लेके गए हैं कि जब भी आपका गगनयान जाएगा आप हमें इनवाइट करेंगे और लॉन्च के लिए, और उसके बाद जल्दी से जल्दी हमें आपके व्हीकल में बैठ के जाना है। तो मुझे लगता है सर कि बहुत ज्यादा उत्साह है।
ये सारी आपको टेक जीनियस के रूप में बुलाती थी, क्या कारण था?
नहीं सर, वो लोग मुझे लगता है बहुत काइंड है और जो इस तरह से बोलते हैं, बट मेरी जो ट्रेनिंग रही है सर, जो एयरफोर्स में ट्रेनिंग रही है और उसके बाद हम लोग ने टेस्ट पायलट की ट्रेनिंग की सर, तो मैं एयरफोर्स में जब गया था तो मुझे लगा था कि पढ़ाई नहीं करनी पड़ेगी, बट मुझे उसके बाद बहुत पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी, मुझे पता नहीं था। और टेस्ट पायलट करने के बाद तो एक ये काइंड ऑफ एक इंजीनियरिंग का एक डिसिप्लिन बन जाता है सर। इसरो में ट्रेनिंग की, हमारे साइंटिस्ट ने हमको पढ़ाया तो 3-4 साल, तो मुझे लगता है कि हम लोग काफी अच्छे से तैयार थे सर इस मिशन के लिए जब पहुंचे।
मैंने जो आपको होमवर्क कहा था तो उसका क्या प्रोग्रेस हुआ है?
बहुत अच्छा प्रोग्रेस हुआ है सर, और लोग काफी हंसे थे मेरे साथ उस मीटिंग के बाद। उन्होंने मुझे चढ़ाया भी था कि आपके प्रधानमंत्री ने आपको होमवर्क दिया तो है, और बहुत जरूरी है सर। हमें इस बात का आभास करना गया ही इसलिए था। मिशन तो एक सक्सेसफुल हुआ है तो हम लोग वापस आ गए हैं, लेकिन ये मिशन अंत नहीं है, मिशन तो शुरुआत है। तो
अरे तो मैंने उसी दिन भी कहा,
आपने उस दिन बोला था
ये हमारा पहला कदम है, ये
पहला कदम है। तो इस पहले कदम का मेन जो उद्देश्य था वो यही था कि हम कितना कुछ इससे सीख के हम वापस ला सकते हैं।
लेकिन सबसे बड़ा काम होगा हमारे सामने, एक बहुत बड़ा एस्ट्रोनॉट का पूल होना चाहिए हमारे पास। हमारे सामने 40-50 लोग रेडी इस प्रकार का। अब तक तो शायद बहुत कम बच्चों के मन में होता होगा, हाँ यार ये कुछ अच्छा है, लेकिन अब आपके आने के बाद शायद वो विश्वास भी बहुत बढ़ेगा, आकर्षण भी बढ़ेगा।
जब मैं छोटा था, राकेश शर्मा सर पहली बार गए थे 1984 में, और एस्ट्रोनॉट बनने का सपना कभी मेरे मन में नहीं आया क्योंकि हमारे पास कोई प्रोग्राम नहीं था। बट मैं जब इस बार गया सर स्टेशन में तो 3 बार मैंने बच्चों से बात की। एक बार लाइव इवेंट था सर, और 2 बार रेडियो के थ्रू उनसे बात की। और तीनों इवेंट में सर एक बच्चा था हर इवेंट में जिसने पूछा कि सर मैं कैसे एस्ट्रोनॉट बन सकता हूँ। तो मुझे लगता है कि ये अपने आप में हमारे देश के लिए बहुत बड़ी सफलता है।
ये आज के भारत में वो उसको सपने देखने की जरूरत नहीं है, उसको मालूम है कि ये पॉसिबल है।
हमारे पास ऑप्शन है और हम बन सकते हैं। और आपने जैसा कहा सर कि ये जिम्मेदारी है मेरी, मुझे लगता है मुझे बहुत मौका मिला कि मैं अपने देश का रिप्रेजेंट कर पाया हूँ, और अब ये मेरी जिम्मेदारी है कि अब मैं ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोगों को यहाँ तक पहुँचाऊँ।
अब स्पेस स्टेशन और गगनयान जो हमारे बड़े मिशन है, उसमें आपका एक्सपीरियंस बहुत काम आएगा।
मुझे लगता है सर कहीं ना कहीं हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ा मौका है, स्पेशली सर क्योंकि इस तरह का कमिटमेंट हमारी गवर्नमेंट आपके द्वारा जो है स्पेस प्रोग्राम को सस्टेन्ड बजट एवरी ईयर इन स्पाइट ऑफ फेलियर्स, जैसे कि चंद्रयान 2 सर सक्सेसफुल नहीं हुआ, उसके बाद भी हमने कहा कि नहीं हम आगे बढ़ेंगे, चंद्रयान 3 सक्सेसफुल हुआ। ऐसे ही फेलियर होने के बाद भी अगर इतना सपोर्ट मिल रहा है और ये पूरी दुनिया देख रही है, तो कहीं ना कहीं सर हमारी इसमें क्षमता भी है और इसमें पोजीशन भी है, हम यहाँ पे एक लीडरशिप रोल एक्वायर कर सकते हैं सर। और बहुत बड़ा एक टूल होगा अगर एक ऐसा स्पेस स्टेशन जो लेड बाय भारत, बट बाकी लोग आके उसका हिस्सा बने। मैंने सुनी सर आपने जो आत्मनिर्भरता इन स्पेस मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वाली आपने बात की थी, तो ये सारी चीजें एक ही तरह से जुड़ी हुई है। जो विजन आपने जो अभी दिया है हमें, ये गगनयान का और बैस का और फिर मून लैंडिंग का, बहुत बड़ा ड्रीम है।
हम अगर आत्मनिर्भर बन के करेंगे तो अच्छा करेंगे।
बिल्कुल सर।
मैंने काफी सारी चीजें सर स्पेस से फोटोग्राफ वगैरह कोशिश की भारत की लेने की।
ये भारत यहाँ से शुरू से ये ट्रायंगल, ये बैंगलोर है सर, ये हैदराबाद क्रॉस हो रहा है, और ये जो फ्लैश आप देख रहे हैं सर, ये सारी बिजली चमक रही है सर, बिजली जो पहाड़ों में हो रहा है सर। और ये क्रॉस होती है जो डार्क एरिया आता है सर, ये हिमालय आ जाता है। और ये ऊपर की तरफ जो जा रहे हैं सर, ये तारे हैं सारे, और ये क्रॉस करते ही ये पीछे से सूरज आ रहा है सर।
Namaskar, hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I am Namrata Singh and you are watching Sarokar, where we bring you conversations that matter to you and society as a whole. Today we focus on an issue that affects each and every one of us, road safety. India has the second largest road network in the world, spanning across 66 lakh kilometers. But along with this vast network comes a grim reality. We also rank among the highest in road accidents and fatalities globally. In 2023 alone, over 1.7 lakh people lost their lives in road crashes. That's almost 500 deaths every single day. So despite better policies, improved vehicle technology and awareness campaigns, road crashes remain one of the India's biggest public safety challenges. Road Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari recently pointed out that India loses 3% of its GDP every year due to road accidents. And what's worse, that most of the victims are young people aged between 18 and 45 years. The reasons are many: rash driving, poor enforcement, badly designed roads, and above all, a lack of respect for traffic laws. In this edition of Sarokar, we explored the current state of road safety in India. Are we as a citizen doing enough to make our roads safer, and what steps the government is taking to improve the situation? So that is what I'm going to analyze on the show today with an eminent panel of guests in the studio. I'm delighted to welcome Mr. Subhash Chand. He's Chief Scientist and former Head Traffic Engineering and Safety Division, CRRI. I'm also delighted to welcome Mr. Anurag Kulshresht. He's President, TRAX, Road Safety NGO. Thank you both for being here and welcome to Sunset TV. And it's also a pleasure to welcome our wonderful studio audience. Let me begin the discussion with you, Subhashji. You know, over 1.5 lakh people succumb to road accidents in our country every year. And nearly 500 lives are lost each day and one life every 3 minutes. So how do you respond to this grim reality, and what are we doing to bring down these numbers?
Yeah, as you know, the problem is very serious, but it has multi-dimensional. It is not a simple problem. It has got its many phases. It starts from road infrastructure. It starts from which include roads and road vehicle. Then there is engineering. Then there is how to manage road safety and traffic. Then there is other part which are involved, which know the education, enforcement, and post-crash treatment. And above that is the society. So everything, if we work together, then only this problem can be taken care of.
So everybody has to step up. Everybody.
Yes.
Mr. Anurag, you know, over-speeding, rash driving, and you know, they remains the main cause of the accidents. And above all, then you are, you know, people talking over the phone, not wearing helmets, not wearing seat belts, also make it worse. So how can we change this sort of mindset among people?
Before that, I want to say one thing. Over speeding is not the, I think, right term to define, but although our government used to announce that over speeding is the main cause, but it has never been investigated scientifically in India. Maybe in 0.01% case it has been investigated, otherwise not. So we are releasing the facts or the figures on the basis of that no investigation.
Okay.
Whatever is not, reason is not available in front of the police persons. So this is a one-way system which we are just announcing in front of the public. Over speeding is a cause. Second thing, it is promoted at all level. Over speeding, what is over speeding? We are making the road of for 100, 120 and more than have a 150. Is it over speeding? Posted speed and the speed of this road at the level of constructing it, it's different. Suppose in city you are doing the driving at the level of 50, then means road is meant for 60 speed to manage this 10 kilometers per hour gap. So accident, if not investigated at any level and then announcing it at every angle and investigated by non-technical persons, so this is the entire ecosystem which is giving us the wrong figures and everything. Then the manipulation of the figures is there. Like we are announcing this age group 18 to 35 is dying more on our roads, and yes, it is. Figures 1.5 or 1.7 lakhs. It's not the real figure. This is the real figure as per the FIRs. And this is up to the time of accidents and maximum 1 day later. But after that, if somebody is dying in the hospital after 2 days, 3 days, 10 days, 1 month, no record of them. So WHO used to say a figure may be double of that, 1.7 into 2. So this is a gravity. And apart from this, we are not defining the definition of accident or the crash. If I'll ask the audience, how many vehicles in our Delhi is undented or untouched, which is 6 months older? So I think the answer will be 100%, maybe 95% or 98%. This is a gravity of the issue. Within 6 months, every vehicle is dented or hit with someone.
That
so means,
also comes into crashes, right?
Yes. If a vehicle is hit by any object or the vehicle to vehicle, this is a accident or the crash, in other words.
Right.
So, if the vehicle population in Delhi, suppose it's almost 1.5 CR, then how many accidents are happening in Delhi every year? 1.5 CR into 2. That is a minimum 3 crore accidents are happening in Delhi itself, and national figure is coming just 4.5 lakhs accident. So 95% cases, police is doing the investigation and it's outside court or outside police station.
But I think these are reported ones, right?
These are the reported one only.
Yeah.
In foreign countries, such type of accidents are reported. Every accident is reported. And then they are doing the investigation, making the policies according to them and improving the level of the enforcement. Somewhere it is missing in our country. So this is the entire scenario of our road safety in India. Unfocused, unaddressed, uninvestigated. In Delhi, almost 50% two-wheelers riders are dying and almost 50% pedestrians are dying. But nationally, we are focusing on what? Vehicle improvement must be there. Which vehicle? Cars. Cars, driver is not pedestrian, car driver is not a biker. These two categories are dying more, but we are focusing on the cars and cars with 4 bags, 6 bags, everything we are giving over there.
Okay. So, Subhashji, so basically what Mr. Anurag was saying, that lack of awareness is one of the important reasons, and data also shows that most of the road victims are pedestrians, cyclists and motorcyclists. So, what concrete steps are we taking to bring down these numbers?
Actually, the focus should be, as Anurag told rightly, that focus should be on the vulnerable road users.
Okay.
So vulnerable users consist of pedestrians, cyclists and two-wheelers.
Okay.
So as you know, in majority of the cities, there is no proper footpath. If footpath is there, the condition of the footpath is not proper, their surface is not proper, their continuity is not proper, and majority of the footpaths are encroached upon by the vendors, by the trees, by the other road infrastructure like thing. So one has to focus on that. At least you should have continuous availability of the pedestrian footpaths along the road and crossing facility for them, so that they themselves can save themselves. Okay. So next thing is the cyclist. So cyclists should be given a due share of their requirement based on the population, and they are using on a particular stretch of a city. They are not available everywhere. So there should be need-based planning for handling the movement of cyclists with proper way. And we are also doing at CRI, we are making road standards. We are making guidelines for segregation of two-wheelers also, because
yes,
they are mixed.
Even my next question was on that safe road infrastructure is the key to preventing accidents.
Yes.
So, but problems like poor design roads, then potholes, then lack of maintenance remains the key challenge today as well. So, what are we doing to improve the road infrastructure?
You see, as far as the road infrastructure is there, we are far ahead, and we are making our road of the world standard. But there are some maintenance issues, definitely. It has to be looked into at ground. The road should be proper in that shape and do not require much of investment to keep them maintained. So we are poor in maintaining the road.
Okay.
But as far as the design is concerned, we are up to the standards.
So, but what is the reason for poor maintenance of the roads?
Reason may be neglect, or maybe lack of resources, lack of funds available within, and our focus for building new roads and neglecting the already made road. So that may be another reason. But definitely, but pothole, to repair the pothole, even CRI has come up with the technology. You can use modern techniques to fill up all these potholes.
Okay.
And with the mechanized system, you can rectify them within no time. So that is there. So we are there. There should be a will to actually do it. So the technology once transferred to the site and to the agencies, definitely we will improve further for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Rajji, you know, the government has repeatedly stressed on the need for behavioral change among the citizens. So why is traffic sense so poor in India? I mean, you know, from loud honking to breaking rules, ignoring lanes, ignoring traffic lights. So what steps are we taking to bring the real change?
Actually, frankly, road user behavior cannot be changed directly. It can be changed only by improving the infrastructure and then the management, that is the enforcement. I'm just giving you one report about this, if you are having the time.
Sure, sure.
Recently, one channel has given the details about the aggressiveness in India. So means we are having the aggressiveness up to almost as an average 70% people are abusing. And then in Delhi, pedestrians are dying more and two-wheelers are dying more. It's 5% increment in the figures in terms of fatality. The number of accidents are reduced,
Okay.
but deaths are increased. So they are happy with that figure. Second thing, helmet. I already discussed here that 99% ladies are wearing substandard or fake helmets, but there's no check on this. Although they are manufactured in Delhi NCR. 99% manufacturing is in Delhi and NCR, but there's no check. 75%, because there's a ISI mark on the helmet. Out of that, 75% helmets are fake. They are having the fake stamp of ISI and it is being sold in our market. Two-wheelers people are dying more. That's why I'm giving this figure. Then about the pedestrians. 80% of Delhi's roads are not having the footpath. And whatever, 20% are having the footpath, they are not walkable even in 90%. Not walkable means encroached, broken, full of vegetation, trees are planted over there. And one of the rules of Green Tribunal, because every tree must be having a 6 feet muddy space out of the tree.
Okay.
So all the footpaths are destroyed, all the means 90%. So almost just we are having the footpaths 5%. Then pedestrians, zebra crossings in Delhi. You must have seen this police notice on a number of poles. Stop before stop line. Means you have to stop before stop lines.
Right.
In 99% case in Delhi, on our zebra crossing, there's no stop line. Only zebra crossing is there. Second thing, lane movement. Delhi police is just focusing on the traffic regulation. They are meant for this, not for traffic management. Because lane discipline, school audience is there. Lane discipline is the key enforcement anywhere inside the schools also, which we are teaching already to the students. Because through the lane management, we can stop rash driving, unnecessary overtaking, whatever speeding, over speeding, whatever the terms are there in case of negligent driving and all, we can stop this, but no focus. Second thing, we are having, I think you must have seen the 3 traffic signals or 4 traffic signals on the crossings.
Right.
In Delhi, nobody knows why these traffic signals are there, 3 signals, 4 signals. Nobody knows about it. That was a lane designated traffic signals. Means left signal for left movement, straight signal for straight movement, and right signal for the right turn. But not even a 0.1% of Delhiites knows about it. That is awareness. With the technology, we are not aware of that. Road designs, like we have discussed, 99% of the crossings or the roundabouts in Delhi, they are faulty. They are pro-accident designs are there. They are not telling us what we have to do. And even the lane marking also. In 90% case, lane markings is wrong. We don't have any lane balancing. Like if road is there, then some flyover is there. Then there's no balancing of the lane marking. Means 3 and 3.5 meter lane marking on the road. Then on the flyover it is 4 meter. And there's no matching. So we are confused. On every flyover, when there is a nose, means a diversion point, there's no specification, there's nothing, lane marking is there. Everybody is confused.
But in light of this, do you think that formal driving training or, traffic sense education is essential to make people aware of these rules?
No, actually, first we have to create proper infrastructure. Then it can be enforced. Then people will be aware of that. As I have already told you, discussed here, 99% ladies are wearing substandard helmet.
Right.
If government is not stopping this, why the people will having any demand for that? They are happy with 100 rupees helmet. They are happy with that size of the helmet. And interestingly, there is a penalty if these people are wearing the substandard or topi helmet.
Basically, proper implementation, you're saying that proper enforcement is necessary, proper implementation of the rules is necessary. And because today we have advanced technologies like speed cameras, then traffic surveillance systems, stricter laws have been introduced though. But despite these tools, do you think lack of strict enforcement, Subhashji, lack of strict enforcement of traffic laws remain a major challenge in the country?
Yeah, of course, that is there, because there is always need for enforcement. Any infrastructure can work only when it is properly enforced and it behaves the way it has been designed. So what is happening actually, even police people, there is always a shortage of police people. Everywhere police cannot be present. So there are technology, we can use the technology, like ATMS, Advanced Traffic Management Systems. We have, we can use the AI for chalaning, we can use these for speed management also. So everywhere, if people are aware that I am always watched, whenever I am violating anything or I am doing a wrong thing, I am being watched and I may be challaned, then people will start behaving that way also. Ultimately, he has to respond for his own safety, and there is requirement of having a capacity building at every level. Even traffic police need the capacity building. As Anurag rightly told, they don't know how to design a system, how to manage the traffic at an intersection, how to manage the pedestrian at a footpath at the corner of the intersection. You know, there are everywhere near the intersection, all the bus stops are there. All the buses are stopping there. All the vendors are concentrated over there. All the pedestrians are standing right at the left turns or right turn at the intersections. All the exits when traffic gets green, all the exits are blocked. They have been fantastically designed. Their width is calculated based on the traffic volumes. Right. The signal has been designed based on the traffic volume and the saturation capacity of any signal system. But there are fixed signal, and if the exits are blocked, how the people will be moving in that? And these things forces the people to violate, and it becomes a chaos system, as if nothing is there. Rule of the law is not there. That is why the infrastructure is not behaving the way it should behave. So there is urgent need of employing each and every scientifically designed road infrastructure and its road signs and marking. Road signs and marking are the not ornamental things. They are the true sense they are conveying between the drivers and the user. Why people are behaving different way while traveling in the metro? Because the environment, the kind of infrastructure.
Because they are much stricter.
They are stricter also. They are always watched upon. And infrastructure also is designed the way the people should behave. That's why
but you have to follow the rules.
So you have to follow the rule, and your infrastructure is visible on that. So you are always guided. The arrows indicating that you have to take the right turn, then you have to be on the right lane. But if there is wrong arrow, if there is no arrow, then people will not be guided. So they will be moving the way they want to move.
Anurag ji, road safety in India is just not a health concern, but it's a serious economic issue because, Union Minister Nitin Gadkari pointed out that we lose nearly 3% of our GDP every year due to road accidents. So in light of this, what is the way forward to tackle this crisis more effectively?
Actually, the investigation system continued in India is wrong. There are two types of things, short-term measurement and long-term measurements. In short-term, what is the report is there? Do the lane marking is not there, do the lane marking, road sign is not there, put the road sign. If maximum in case of road traffic lights are required, then this is an investigation at short-term measurements. And in long-term measurements, there is a requirement of flyover is required, underpass is required, and this type of interventions. But in between that, as he is saying very well, proper designing of each crossings, and even I am saying that 99% crossings are poorly designed. To at least channelize these crossings properly, and there's no investigation out of that, short term and long term, and here we are zero. So that's why accidents are increasing. Second thing, Gadkari ji is this central minister.
Right.
He can form the policies, but ultimately states has to behave. States has to accept, but they are not accepting. If you remember, motor vehicle amendment in Motor Vehicle Act was there. Almost every state has refused to accept that amendment or the charges on the people. And the charges on the people is like announced like a tax on the people. It's not the tax. It is to save the life of the people. But our different communities, different political parties, they are announcing it is a tax on them. It's not the tax. So investigation at this level. And the city level. Second thing, 66 lakhs road network is there in our country.
The country, yeah.
Gadkari ji is focusing on 1 lakhs kilometers of road network, 1.5 lakhs kilometer network only. Rest, 64.5 lakhs states are doing. But there's no focus by the states because they don't have any specifications what to do, how to do, because we all are crying for last 10-15 years, road safety, but we don't know what is road safety. Cars should be strong enough. Car drivers must be safe. But 90% case, other road users are dying on our roads. There's no focus on that.
Okay, so basically you say that, you're saying that states need to step up in this regard. So now I'd like to open the floor for our audience.
Hello sir, hello ma'am. My name is Bhavya Gautam. I'm from Ambedkar University, Delhi. Sir, I want to say that most of us must have seen accident in our life. But if you have seen any terrifying accident, so what did you notice that this is the biggest reason for that particular accident, and how are that current traffic laws are preventing those accidents nowadays?
Actually, right. That's what Anurag was telling, that majority of our data is derived from the police records of FIR. And the causes of the accidents are recorded only after the accident has happened and the situation and scenes has been totally turned. So here, according to the law, they make the every time the major fault is overspeeding, rash driving, and that too the fault is of the heavy vehicle. So that the person, those who are lying as a poor person, they can get some compensation because their fault, it is not their fault. Maybe pedestrian is at fault. He might be drunk and he is passing on the road. Or might be cyclist is drunk and he is driving on that. Even then, if he is hit by the car, the reason will be recorded as the car was speeding up. So there is always a lack of data. As your question was telling, definitely there is provision. The accident investigation is taken care of. There are agencies, even CRI also do, and the other agencies also do. That is called accident investigation. So each accident, we cannot take every accident. Serious accident is investigated thoroughly from engineering angle, from other angles, people behavior angle, from motor vehicles fault angle and all that. So exact reason is known. But as data is very limited and major accidents are known, and even people, those who are technically qualified, they can extract what has been wrong with that.
Next question.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I am Shweta and I am a teacher at Rainbow English Senior Secondary School. I truly agree with sir, first of all, that infrastructure and lot many other things can be held responsible for these road safety issues. But my main concern is I have two sons and both of them, like one is 17-year-old and he is driving an EV vehicle, that EV scooter, which we have only given in the name of eco-friendly. But he is also not wearing a helmet despite us being telling him. But I actually want to know that why are we introducing such vehicles in which he can give me the answer that ki mama, it's not required. These EV vehicles do not require the helmet or license for that. So why are we having such vehicles? Even though, sir, apart from cars, these e-rickshaws, these are also quite reckless driver. How do we make, we make aware them about these road safety issues?
Actually, well said by you, because this is a problem of, like Namrata has already discussed like this. It's an issue of every family. You're not alone. I am also on the same boat, and everybody is on the same boat. Number one, misconception: if a person is driving an e-bike on the road where the high-level vehicles, other vehicles are moving with different speed, and our person without license is safe on that. I don't know. This is a mistake of our policy makers. They are taking it like no license is required for this. Everybody is required the helmet on our roads, even the cyclist also. There was a road safety bill before that government. Congress has come out with the road safety bill, which was kept pending just because of the objections from the other parties. So that Gadkari ji has announced, okay, there will be a motor vehicle amendment only, because all political party was opposing that. In that particular scenario, in that particular bill, there was a provision to make compulsory helmet for the cyclist also. But it was kept pending. Second thing, we are governed on our roads through Motor Vehicle Act, which is saying everything about the vehicles, not other road users, cyclists, pedestrians, no focus in that bill. So we have to have number of policies related to this. Till the moment we are not having the policy, we all will be confused. Second thing, because there is no public demand, public is happy whatever is going on. If pothole is there, they are happy. Few media person, social media people, they are raising the voice. Otherwise, everybody is happy. With the opened mail hole, they are passing regularly, but no objection. So we are the people, or the type of society we have. There is no observation, there is no vigilance. We are not vigilant for that, and reactant, forget it. So first thing for anything, be observant, be vigilant, and be reactant also.
So basically be the change you want to see.
Exactly.
Next question.
I am Karuna from Ambedkar University. I want to ask you, as you told us earlier, that 90% of the accidents are of pedestrians and two-wheelers. So why there is more focus than required on the safety of the car drivers and the cars?
I think you must focus on the demand of the people, because we are demandless. So yes, our sector, the government sector, is more focusing on cars and cars and cars. If you have the problem, raise your voice. If you don't have the footpath in front of your college or in front of your school, have you write something to someone to provide us at least footpath in front of our school? We are happy with the management inside the boundary. Every school is doing every type of management which must be on the road by the police. But schools are happy within the boundaries, but they are not doing anything on the road. Students are their property inside the school. Students are the property outside the school also. Because if something is mishappening over there, then ultimately school will be blamed. That student from this school is getting hurt in front of this.
Okay.
My name is Jia Sharma and I'm from Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University. So my question is, in India today, like what are the most common causes of road accidents in India? And how do you ensure that the authorities are addressing them?
Major causes of accidents, actually, there are three causes. One is environment, that consists of road infrastructure and the surrounding built up infrastructure. Second part of that is the vehicle, because vehicle has to be part of that accident, then only accident will happen. So there are accidents due to faulty vehicle, fault in the vehicle, or driver's fault resulting due to threat. And the third one, the cause is the social. That means people behavior. So in majority of the cases, the people behavior, people are at fault and they don't behave the way they should behave. So the accident action. So we have to take care of all of them. If we just leave one of them, we are not going to be safe.
I am Kriti Prajapati. My question is from Subhash sir. Sir, during the COVID-19 pandemic, in the peak time, we lost millions of people in a year. And today also, we see that in a year, we lose many people, millions of people in the road accidents. And at that time, when we are losing the people in a pandemic, then we took the pandemic as a major concern. But why we are not taking the road accidents and people who are dying on the roads as a major concern? And today also, we see, despite many government awareness campaigns, people still break the traffic rules. And so how should we make the people also aware that traffic rules are not just meant for the exemption from the government fines, but they should follow the rules for their own safety also?
Right. You are right. You have given your answer also, because the answer lies in that everybody has to be responsible. Rightly, when it was a pandemic, we took the challenge as a pandemic. So society should force the government. It is not a simple daily accidents happening. It is a kind of pandemic. And even WHO has declared it as a pandemic. So it has to be taken in that spirit, and every corner, every citizen, every government and every NGO has to come up forward with the action plan so that it is visible, and you have to be part of that. Then only it can happen. For that you have to go for capacity building. Capacity building, that there should be some expert knowledge within his own domain, so that he can tackle that situation and he can enhance his knowledge and he can educate the other people. That capacity building is needed from all these aspects.
Okay, yeah. So basically people's behavior needs to be changed, as road safety begins with us. And the government can, build better roads and enforce laws. But if we continue to break the rules, nothing will change. Every time someone chooses to drive aggressively or carelessly, they not only put their own life at risk, but also endanger the lives of others on the road. So let's choose to drive responsibly, value every life, and be the change we want to see on our roads. So thank you to our guests and our wonderful audience, and to you, our viewers, for being part of this important conversation. So stay tuned and keep watching Sunset TV.
Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sunset TV. I'm Tina Jha, you're watching Perspective. On the show today, we turn our focus to the ongoing visit of Chinese Foreign Minister Mr. Wang Yi to India. A visit being closely watched not just in New Delhi and Beijing, but around the world. On Monday, Mr. Wang Yi met External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, who underlined that India-China relations must rest on the three pillars of mutual respect, mutual sensitivity, and mutual interest. He stressed that moving forward from a difficult phase will require a candid and constructive approach from both sides. At the 24th round of special representative level talks on Tuesday, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval also pointed to an upward trend in bilateral engagements, noting that borders have remained quiet, peace and tranquility have prevailed, and interactions between the two countries are becoming more substantial. And for his part, the Chinese Foreign Minister acknowledged that recent setbacks were not in the interests of either nation. He emphasized that the October 2024 meeting between President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in Kazan had provided a new direction to bilateral ties and fresh impetus to efforts at resolving the boundary question. So what does this moment mean for the future of India-China relations? Can this visit of Mr. Wang Yi to India truly mark a new phase of cooperation between the two Asian giants? And what should we expect from Prime Minister Modi's upcoming visit to China for the SCO summit? We'll discuss these aspects and much more with an illustrious panel. So let me begin by introducing the guest to you. With me in the studio is Mr. Ghulam Ali. He's a member of parliament. He represents the BJP in the Rajya Sabha. Glad to have you with us on the broadcast, Mr. Ali. Next to him is Professor Shrikant Kondrapalli. He's Professor, Center for East Asian Studies, School of International Studies, Jawaharlal Nehru University. Professor, glad to have you with us on the broadcast as well. Welcome to Sunset TV. Joining us virtually is Mr. D.P. Srivastav, former Ambassador and Distinguished Fellow, Vivekananda International Foundation. Ambassador, welcome to the program. Let me begin the conversation with the guests in the studio, beginning with you, Mr. Ali. How do you look at the ongoing visit of Mr. Wang Yi in context of the improving India-China relations?
देखिए, चाइना हमारा पड़ोसी है और वाजपेयी जी कहा करते थे कि आप पड़ोसी को चेंज नहीं कर सकते। बीच में चाइना और इंडिया के भारत के थोड़े ताल्लुकात में लद्दाख बाउंड्री पे थोड़ी तल्खी आ गई थी और हमारी सेनाओं ने उसको पूरा कवर करा था चीज़ों को। लेकिन इसके साथ साथ चाइना और भारत का बिजनेस में बहुत बड़ा पार्टनरशिप है। जैसा कि आपने कहा फॉरेन मिनिस्टर साहब ने कि म्यूचुअल रिस्पेक्ट भी होनी चाहिए, ट्रस्ट भी होना चाहिए, इनसेंसिटिविटीज़ मतलब उनका भी सेंसिटिविटीज़ का और इनसेंसिटिविटीज़ को दोनों को बैलेंस रख के और आगे बढ़ना चाहिए हमें। देखिए, जो मौजूदा सरकार है दिल्ली में एनडीए की, जिसकी रहनुमाई नरेंद्र मोदी जी करते हैं, बेसिक मकसद है एनडीए का कि भारत पहले। तो भारत की नेशनल इंटरेस्ट के साथ हम कोई भी समझौता नहीं करते। हमारा सिक्योरिटी हो, जहाँ सॉवरेनिटी हो, हम उस पर कतन किसी के साथ भी अपना समझौता नहीं करते। हाँ, इसके साथ साथ जो अभी रिसेंटली हमारे रिलेशंस में इम्प्रूवमेंट्स आई हैं, इसमें हम कंस्ट्रक्टिव जो डायलॉग है, इकोनॉमिक पार्टनरशिप्स हैं, मतलब डिफेंस में है, टेक्नोलॉजी में है, डिफरेंट क्षेत्र में है, इसमें हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं।
Sure, we will continue to talk about how this momentum and the current phase in ties can take this relationship forward. Professor, recent statements both from the National Security Advisor, Mr. Ajit Doval, and our External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, indicate there's an upward trend in improved relations, especially in the last 9 months, especially after the Kazan talks between Prime Minister Modi and President Xi Jinping. The NSA spoke about quiet borders, substantive talks. How do you see or how significant are these factors in the larger arc of the India-China bilateral relations, which we saw went on a downward trend, especially since June 2020 when the Galwan clash happened?
I think Foreign Minister Wang Yi's visit is very significant because of the last 9 months of the trend that has that included Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri's visit to Beijing and Mr. Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, in December for the special representative meeting. Later it was by once again by Mr. Vikram Misri as well as Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh visit in June for the SCO Defense Ministerial meeting. There was a meeting between Admiral Tung Chun, the Chinese Defense Minister, and the Indian Defense Minister in June. That was useful because of the military mobilization on the borders. and the disengagement process that was it began during October 23rd last year, meeting between the two sides. We also had Dr. Jaishankar's visit last month and the current visit by Foreign Minister Wang Yi. So I think these visits are important to understand each other and initiate a kind of communication between the two sides. Number one. Number two, we used to have about 30 dialogue processes between Foreign Ministry, Defense Ministry, HRD Ministry, Education Ministry, between finance ministries, the two finance ministries, the Niti Aayog and NDRC in China. We have a youth dialogue, we have think tank to think tank, media to media, so many, about 30 dialogues we used to have. All of these have been shut down. So Mr. Wang Yi's visit rekindles that we will have probably in near future, these dialogues to be recommenced. Right. So I think that is very important because 1.4 billion each people cannot shut down the communication process. We have laid down a few red lines, as Dr. Jaishankar mentioned on June 17, 2020, 2 days after Galwan. Unless until peace and tranquility prevails on the border, we will not have bilateral relations. A very clear message from the Indian Foreign Minister, and we stuck to that for the past 4.5 years. And I think the Chinese now realize that it is actually very costly for shutting down the bilateral relations because we have had the promises in Wuhan and in Mahabalipuram in 2018 and 2019 for the resolution or keeping the border stability. President Xi promised that, but we have had the problems on the border, as you mentioned, June 15, 2020. So the visit is important because we now rekindle those dialogue processes between the two sides.
Certainly. Peace and tranquility is something that India set as a prerequisite for the bilateral engagement. Ambassador, fortunately, what the National Security Advisor, following his meeting with Mr. Wang Yi, has said, and it comes as good news, is that the borders are now quiet. Peace and tranquility have prevailed at least over the last 9 months. What does this indicate, especially in context of the confidence building measures between India and China?
You know, the border relations have to be seen in the long-term perspective. There has definitely been improvement since Galwan, and it is hoped that the visit of Chinese Foreign Minister to India, and this will be followed by our Prime Minister for SCO Summit, will further reinforce this trend. But we have to wait and watch how this impacts on a long-term basis. And we also have to keep in mind the contemporary international situation, which is in a state of flux, both for China and for India. China is having internal problems, economy has slowed down, and it has a difficult relationship with US, and we are going through a similar phase. So I think this will be, in this probably is one of the immediate reason which has brought about a convergence in their position. And we do hope that we can build on it on a lasting basis.
Okay, since we're talking about building hope, Professor, I'll come back to you and try and understand. You said 1.4 billion people cannot shut down on China. We know as two large economies in Asia, two large economies in the world, we are interconnected. There is a positive momentum that has been generated through consistent efforts over the last few months. How can this new phase of positive engagement now expand to further cooperation in areas of trade, of connectivity and regional stability also?
We do not know. We are just building the blocks right now after the disastrous June 2020 incident where 20 Indian soldiers were killed and China said 4 of their soldiers were killed. So we do not know because we are still in the discussion phase at the moment, and we have actually a lot of differences on all of these issues. So for instance, trade, for example, cumulatively in the last 20 years, China had $1.4 trillion of surplus over India in the bilateral trade. In other words, when President Trump was imposing a lot of tariffs because there is unfavorable balance of trade, we could have also resorted to some kind of pressure on the trade issues. But we did not. We stuck to the WTO market economy status, and we allowed the Chinese goods to enter into the Indian market. China did not show any one of those favors to India. For example, none of our software companies have functioned in China. They were not able to sell their products, and none of our pharmaceutical companies could be allowed into the China market. Even though we produce a lot of generic drugs, and there are 180 million liver patients in China. When they come to India, they pick up individually much of these medicines. So there is a problem in terms of the market economy status for China, yet we allowed them to function in the Indian market. So these need to be resolved, market status, because Foreign Minister Wang Yi himself mentioned about no trade protectionism. So they need to open up based on this. Secondly, while peace and tranquility overall prevails on the border, we have not had de-escalation and de-induction so far. As we are talking now, there is at least 70,000 Chinese troops on the border in the Ladakh sector alone, the Aksai Chin Ladakh sector alone. So that poses concern because we do not know what is for tomorrow. What is the situation for tomorrow? So fingers crossed on those issues.
Let's hope that the positive momentum generates some fruitful results in context of improved India-China relations. But as a member of Parliament, which are the areas that you would see both neighbors perhaps building their relationship or sort of resetting their ties back into trade, technology, regional security? Which are the areas where India should focus more particularly on with China?
देखिए, बहुत खूबसूरत कहा आपने कि हमारा प्री कंडीशंस हैं, जैसे आपने कहा कि डोवाल साहब ने कि स्टेबिलिटी और ट्रैंक्विलिटी के लिए हमें प्री कंडीशंस हैं, क्योंकि चाइना के पास नौजवान जो हैं, यूथ, इंडिया के पास यूथ है, ह्यूमन रिसोर्स है। चाइना के पास इतना नौजवान जो है वो कम पड़ गया है। उससे क्या है कि अगर वो एंगेज रखेगा हमारे साथ बॉर्डर पे अपना आर्मी को, जहाँ हम वहाँ एंगेज रहेंगे, तो हम जो अदर सेक्टर्स हैं जैसे इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स हैं, जहाँ अदर चीज़ें हैं, उस पे हम डिफेंस पे हैं, जहाँ बाकी उस पे हम ब्रीथ नहीं ले पाएंगे। तो चाइना भी समझता है और इंडिया और चाइना के लिए ये ज़रूरी है कि वो, और बड़ी मेजर पॉपुलेशन वाले देश हैं, कि वो इस तरफ बढ़ें, और ये अच्छा स्टेप है। इसके साथ साथ हम इंटरनेशनल प्लेटफॉर्म्स भी हम शेयर करते हैं, जैसे आपका SCO है, जहाँ ब्रिक्स है, जहाँ ये हमारे एजेस हैं अदर बड़ी इकोनॉमीज़ के सामने। लेकिन जिस तरह हम फोमा है, जहाँ आपने पूछा कि किन सेक्टर्स में हम बढ़ सकते हैं, सेमीकंडक्टर्स है, जहाँ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी है, इसमें हम जो इस वक्त की ज़रूरत है, और क्लीन एनर्जी है, इस तरफ हम आगे बढ़ सकते हैं, और जिसमें इंडिया काफ़ी आगे बढ़ा है। जैसे हम एक पावर निकल के आए हैं कि अमेरिका ने जैसे हम पे टैरिफ सिंगल फिर डबल प्रेशर डालने की कोशिश करी। हमारी अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ ज़्यादा बढ़ रही हैं। जितना अमेरिका हम पे प्रेशर डालेगा, इतना ही हमारा अपॉर्चुनिटी बढ़ता है, क्योंकि अमेरिका और यूरोप में भी वो है, यूरोप पूरा हमें 23 देश हमारी तरफ देखते हैं, वो हमसे बिजनेस करना चाहते हैं। क्योंकि अमेरिका उनका ग्रीनलैंड की तरफ बढ़ रहा है, तो अमेरिका और उनके डिफरेंसेस हैं कहीं ना कहीं वो। तो हमें इस कम्प्लेक्स रिलेशन से चाइना के साथ हमारे अच्छे रिलेशन से चाइना को भी लाभ है, हमें भी लाभ है, और हम एक इन्फ्लुएंस, हमारा जो रीजनल इन्फ्लुएंस है और इंटरनेशनल जो हमारा एक अच्छी ताकत उभर के आएंगे, इस तरह हम आगे बढ़ेंगे.
Based on what you've said, I'll take the next question to Ambassador. Ambassador, it's said, and especially in context of the ever-changing geopolitics, you have no permanent enemies, you have no permanent friends. I seek your apology well in advance, because in no way I want to give the credit of our diplomats who worked so hard on bringing us to this stage of a thaw with China. But the buzz and the talk about the US President Donald Trump having played a significant role in bringing India and China together is making the headline. It's being said that the tariff war unleashed by President Donald Trump has brought India and China together. From a diplomatic lens, sir, did you see both countries, both neighbors, both Asian giants looking at it as an opportunity to perhaps get back and extend cooperation in numerous ways which can ultimately benefit people of both sides?
Let me begin by saying that we should not let China-India relations be a subset of our relations with third countries. And it is in China's interest to realize that by keeping border issue alive and building Pakistan as a counterpoise to India, they have neither succeeded in stubbing India's growth nor managed to get more stability. If the present situation, contemporary situation, where both countries face challenges, if that brings about a realization that there, on the part of Chinese, that there should be a serious rethink, that will be a welcome opportunity. Otherwise, this will be one more comma in a long process. Immediately, I think that what they can do is to open up their doors to the Indian exports, which we are trying to diversify in the aftermath of the tariff hike which America has announced. And it is also in China's interest to look for to diversify away from the American market. So there are some opportunities. And let's at least start with that. The larger background which I have mentioned will probably take a little more time.
Certainly, 4.5 years of standstill. Now we've begun to talk. There is a positive momentum that's been generated due to constant efforts. But let's hope, as you said, it's not a comma and it's not a temporary thaw. It's just one of the steps towards a more long-lasting relationship. But in that context, Professor, let me quote the Chinese Foreign Minister. He did acknowledge, following his meeting with the National Security Advisor, that the setbacks of the last 4.5 years have not been in the interest of people of either of the nations. How important or how significant are these acknowledgements in shaping future negotiations, and in this context with China, with a country that we need as much as they need us? We are not just neighbors, but we are two leading economies and interdependent on each other.
We have to wait and watch what the reassessment in China is. But in the recent times, we have seen over 9 million videos were released by Quancha, a social networking site in China, criticizing India in the India-Pakistan conflict just about 2 months ago, May 7th to 10th. Secondly, there are also reports, including day before yesterday, there was a report by, it's a pen name which was mentioned in the Haisu. There is a pen name of an author, generally a high-level party cadre, writes with that kind of pen name. We don't know the veracity, but mentioning about the burdens of the Trump administration's tariffs on India, and India is more malleable in the sense of becoming pro-China in this context of tariff increase. So we have different views within China on this. So we have to wait and watch whether Mr. Wang Yi's statement would result in any positives for the bilateral relations. If this is regrettable, last 4.5 years, we need to see some progress on various issues that India has been asking for. Trade deficits to be reduced. This is a demand in 2010, not now. 15 years, for the past 15 years, we have been asking for trade deficits to be reduced. We are not asking for the moon. Those issues we used to discuss before Nuclear Supplies Group membership, United Nations Security Council membership endorsement. China is the only country which doesn't endorse the... we are not discussing these issues. We are discussing mundane issues. Even mundane issues are not being resolved. So I think we need to wait for a while to see what's the progress on the ground. And for example, on the border, we have no de-escalation and de-induction. Powerful offensive equipment is mobilized on the border. They have not been removed yet. So we need to see our ISR capabilities have to detect if there is any, and then suggest in these dialogues that we need to actually move. We need to walk the talk.
Absolutely. Following Kazan, there was some movement. Let's hope that at the high-level dialogues that take place in future, there will be a push towards achieving all of these objectives. But now all eyes are on Prime Minister Modi's visit to China to attend the SCO summit. What realistic outcomes should we have, or can India leverage the positive energy that's being generated in the improved relationships at platforms like the SCO, even if it's a multilateral forum? Can India make its point about lots of things, not just improving bilateral relations with China, but perhaps making China agree to a lot of things that India wants, and particularly in context of terrorism, cross-border terrorism emanating from Pakistan?
I think the SCO meeting will be significant because generally we have 4 items on the SCO agenda. Energy security, which is a burning topic given the tariffs that have been imposed on India. Secondly, counter-terrorism, which has been raised. Raksha Mantri raised this issue 2 months ago. The bilateral economic and cultural, economic issues between the SCO states. Finally, multipolarity, which we are wedded to that idea of a just world order, and so multipolarity will also be raised. So the Prime Minister's visit, I think, to Tianjin would be significant to renew those strategic communication between the two leaders. But we have not had any news so far about a third informal summit after the Wuhan and Mahabalipuram meetings. So that indicates that there is still, this is a work in progress.
Ambassador, looking ahead, and especially in context of the upcoming SCO summit, of course, we would like to hear your thoughts on the expectations on what could be on the agenda. What would you particularly consider a realistic and meaningful outcome from the upcoming visit of the Prime Minister to China, not just in context of India's overall engagement with the neighboring country, but also in the larger interest of regional security, regional stability?
SCO does not have any impact on the security in our region. What impacts the security of our region is Chinese support to Pakistan and the Chinese presence on our northern borders. These are outside the SCO framework. Now, there are 2 interesting questions. Let me just highlight them. Wang Yi, the foreign minister, is headed to Pakistan tomorrow for a strategic dialogue with that country. How do Chinese look at Pakistan's flirtation with US? General Asif Munir has been, strutting about or boasting about this tremendous change in their relationship, and Pakistan has nominated President Trump for a Nobel Prize. This must be giving Chinese some something to think about. Their relationship with the country they have bankrolled for such a long time, turning out to be such an unreliable partner. The second issue which the Chinese have to worry about is how are Russia-US relations are going to turn out if the Ukraine war issue is resolved. The Chinese leverage over Russia will be much less, and they will need friends like India. And the third issue is how does China's equation with US works out? President Trump has extended the truce in the tariff war. And interestingly, while US has targeted India for buying Russian oil, it has given China a reprieve, even though China, if you look at last 3 years perspective since Ukraine war broke out, has been a bigger purchaser of Russian oil. And even more interesting, America has left out Europe, which, spent more money buying Russian LNG last year than aid to Ukraine. So these are interesting times, and these are questions, larger questions, which are outside the SCO framework, but will have an impact on the trajectory followed by these three countries, which will meet in SCO. I think in the short run, we do not expect a great deal. At this stage, SCO summit outcomes, if you have a look, they present an alternate view of the world to the West. I have dealt with multilateral issues for 8 years in the ministry. My own feeling is that this time the outcome will be very mild, because both countries, despite all the uncertainties, Russia and China, do not want to give up their America option. And that brings me to the point that for us also, America is not the problem. We run a $40 billion surplus with them. Our problem is China, with which we have a $97 billion deficit. And I hope our Chinese friends understand that, they cannot expect that they turn to India when they are in difficulty, and then they turn their back on us and go back to their, their protege in the neighborhood. These answers to these questions will be clearer after a couple of days after Wang Yi's visit to Pakistan.
I think that's what Dr. Jaishankar meant when he emphasized on mutual interest. Perhaps it's time that China also looks at the fact that it needs India as much as India needs China. What the outcomes of the SCO summit will be, we'll have to wait and watch until the 1st of September. But for now, we'll have to wind up the conversation. The important takeaway is that the Chinese foreign minister is in India. It's a significant visit. He's had meetings with Prime Minister Modi, with the External Affairs Minister, with the National Security Advisor. There is a positive momentum that's been generated over the last few months in the India-China relationship, and we hope that it's just the beginning of the long-lasting relationship for India and China, the two Asian giants. With that, we'll have to wrap up the conversation. Thank you once again, Ambassador, Professor, and Mr. Ali, for joining us on this edition of Perspective, sharing your thoughts, your views with us and our viewers. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well.
Hello and very warm welcome viewers. You're watching the special presentation of Sunset TV, Samvad, with your host, Priti Mishra. And joining us right now is a very special guest, Ports, Shipping and Waterways Minister of India, Mr. Sarvanand Sonowal. Sir, welcome to Sunset TV and thank you so much for joining us. Sir, first of all, let me begin by asking you about the bill that has been passed by Parliament recently, Bill of Lading Bill 2025. Tell us about the importance of the bill because it also ensures ease of doing business in India.
Let me begin with this, that Honorable Prime Minister has given us a vision that is very clear that by 2047 we are to achieve the target of becoming one of the top developed nation in the world, and also to make India self-reliant nation, Atmanirbhar Bharat. To achieve that goal, under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, all the ministries are working day and night. And as he started with this principle that reforms perform and transform. So that is why a lot of reformation is required to bring the transformation in the different sector in terms of our growth, in the sector of our day-to-day activities. So that is why Ministry of Port, Shipping, Waterways, since 2014, Honorable Prime Minister has taken up the leadership, and he has set a target for this ministry, that ministry will have to enhance its capacity of port operation, handling of cargo, and efficiency in all aspects. That is why one very important flagship program has been brought into place, that is Sagarmala program. And this Sagarmala program, through this program, the agenda has been set very clear that we are to make all the port modernized, mechanized, digitized, and creating an environment of ease of doing business. Then port-led connectivity enhancement, railway connectivity, road connectivity, all other concerned ministry connected with EXIM trade, they are to be integrated, and an ecosystem should be developed so that this handling of cargo efficiency can be enhanced. Then come port-led industrialization. Close to the port, we have to create industries, and that industry will manufacture the goods meant for global market. It should be located close to the port so that, like, the transportation become easy and logistic costs can be minimized. Then come coastal community development. Right from Gujarat to West Bengal, it is more than 7,500 kilometer length of coastal area. We have different, like, state and also union territories. For the development of coastal community, we are to undertake different scheme, like creating fishing harbor and giving fishing vessels, and also creating the institutional mechanism for maritime skill development, so that we could create employment opportunity and also entrepreneurship. So this is one of the vertical of Sagarmala program. And then come coastal shipping and inland waterways. In both the sector, we'll have to give importance for coastal shipping as well as inland water transport. So because of this particular initiative, in the last 10 years time, lot of development have taken place. Now in all the verticals, even World Bank Logistic Performance Reports Index speak the volumes of our growth, how we could able to double the cargo handling capacity from 2014 to 2025. So this is the power we could able to generate because of the Honorable Prime Minister's vision and his dynamic leadership, and because of his initiative, policy program, and also quality governance, good governance. So I believe this is the way this ministry has been performing and creating exemplary success story. And you have all the figures available with you, right from cargo handling to the turnaround time, and so also positioning from 44 to 28, how our ports have been placed among the top 100 ports in the world. So that's the way in all the verticals our growth story has started and ultimately created confidence among the traders, among the stakeholders. And also due to the incorporations of latest technology into our place, particularly port quality operation for our sustainable growth. And these are the landmark achievements and happening because of Honorable Prime Minister's vision. We must admit it very frankly. And earlier, what was the condition of this? You know that. So during the UPA regime, this was totally neglected kind of sector. It has never been brought to the limelight, and it was never been realized by those government that this ministry is the largest transporter of the country. And we have to handle more than 90% by volume and 70% by value. That is the EXIM cargo. We have got Himalayan responsibility to generate our kind of efforts so that country's economic growth can be met speedier and also with kind of a scale of our world-class activities. So this is how this ministry is performing. And Bill of Lading of 1856, it was enacted by the British regime for their own interest. So Honorable Prime Minister has given very clear direction to all the ministry that whatever legislations were enacted during the British regime, it should be replaced and repealed. We should bring our fresh law into our domain so that our legal wisdom, legal knowledge can be well incorporated to demonstrate our power of legislative reforms. That is why this bill has been repealed, and this has made the country out of colonial mindset and bringing this legislation. We are making the entire kind of efforts of this particular set of law simple and for better understanding. Simplifications and better understanding is the key to this reform, because this reform is going to empower our stakeholders, whether it is shipper, carrier, consignee, endorsee, and the transfer of right of suits and liabilities has been very clearly given to the kind of consignee and also the endorsee. So this is the significance of this particular reforms, and ultimately this will help for effective governance, effective implementation of this particular set of law. So this is the remarkable changes we have brought, and ultimately, as this is a kind of legal document, this is treated as a legal document, this Bill of Lading, and this legal document will empower our stakeholders and also to make the entire business transaction trustworthy. That is why we have incorporated some numbers of clauses so that whatever provisions are there in this act can be effectively implemented by the stakeholders and make the entire transaction trustworthy, credible, and more easy for business.
Absolutely, sir. You talked about Prime Minister's vision. There's a lot of focus on the shipping industry, whether it's Make in India or in fact dismantling the ship. How do you see the Prime Minister's vision being translated on the ground?
Of course, it would be translated into ground. We have started to articulate into action. And now that is why ecosystem has now been developed in such a manner. You will be happy to know a lot of shipbuilders, leading shipbuilder of the world, they are coming and joining hands with the Indian kind of stakeholders. So that reflects how Honorable Prime Minister's vision is now like making into a reality now. So that is why, with the help of the kind of state government, coastal state government, and we are creating clusters for shipbuilding and also creating the ecosystem so that like equipments and kind of parts which should be applicable for shipbuilding will be manufactured within India itself. So that's the way we are targeting to make India by 2047 one of the top 5 shipbuilding nation in the world. And it is possible because whatever Honorable Prime Minister says, it is always articulated in action, and that is why India is growing faster, and that is why India could able to make itself one of the top, leading economy in the world, and now we could able to position ourselves one of the 4th largest economy. By 2028, we are becoming the 3rd largest economy. Why it is happening? Why it was not happened before 2014? Because those governments were having no business, no no vision, no kind of this thing policy, and no good governance. So that is why they have failed. Now Honorable Prime Minister has brought all the changes, good governance into place, which has empowered every citizen, and generated self-confidence. Yes, I could also contribute for the growth of the country. So this is how he has integrated the more than 142 crores people in the country through the principle of kind of Ek Bharat, Shresth Bharat, and also making everyone empowered and also providing social security and economic upliftment. That speaks the volume of his broad mind for the cause of the people of the country, and also to make India one of the leading developed nation by 2047.
Finally, sir, before we wrap up this conversation, your vision of port-led development of India.
Yeah, of course, I want that whatever Honorable Prime Minister is giving us the vision, that's the a target we are to fulfill, and that is why we are making our all the ports whether it is chairman, deputy chairman, or all the officers involved, workers involved, all other stakeholders involved, because our ministry going on the principle of PPP mode, and whatever project we have been undertaking, it is all being implemented through this principle. And that is why, because of the success story, now many more stakeholders are coming forward and trying to join hands with us, because they know that joining hands with our ministry means success, success, success.
On that note, sir, and all the very best for all your successful endeavors in future as well. Thank you so much for talking to Sunset TV. Thanks a lot. Hello and welcome viewers. You're watching In Depth with your host Kruti Mishra. Parliament of India has passed the Coastal Shipping Bill of 2025. The bill will unlock the full potential of the country's vast and strategic coastline and will help in achieving the goal of country's coastal cargo traffic to 230 million metric tons by 2030. The proposed legislation will also minimize regulations and maximize facilitation of growth opportunities in coastal trade. Here's everything you need to know about this proposed legislation. Come along. In a historic moment towards boosting the coastal economy of the country, the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 was passed by the Rajya Sabha. This historic act is set to unlock the tremendous and vast potential of India's 11,098 kilometers long strategic coastline spanning 9 coastal states and 4 union territories. The bill was proposed for adoption by Union Minister of Ports, Shipping and Waterways, Sarbanand Sonowal. The bill, which was earlier passed by the Lok Sabha on April 3, 2025, seeks to simplify and modernize the legal framework governing coastal shipping, replacing a part of Merchant Shipping Act 1958 with a new age progressive legislation aligned with global norms. Introducing the bill in the Rajya Sabha, Union Minister Sarbanand Sonowal stated that the legislation is central to India's ambition of increasing its coastal cargo share by 230 million metric tons
by 2030 while strengthening the maritime sector's contribution to Atmanirbhar Bharat and Viksit Bharat. This is not merely a legal reform, but a strategic enabler of economic growth, employment and logistics efficiency. The bill reduces regulatory burdens, enhances competitiveness of Indian vessels and aligns with Prime Minister's vision to make India a global maritime hub. The Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 comprises of 6 chapters and 42 clauses. It introduces a simplified licensing system for coastal shipping and lays down the framework for regulating foreign vessels engaged in coastal trading. Additionally, the bill mandates the formulation of a national coastal and inland shipping strategic plan to guide future infrastructure development and policy direction. The legislation also provides for creation of a national database for coastal shipping, enabling real-time access to authentic and regularly updated data. This database will keep potential investors informed about the government's development plans and policy priorities in the sector, promoting transparency and confidence. Once implemented, the bill is expected to significantly enhance supply chain security by increasing Indian ships' participation in domestic cargo movement. The government is working on a mission mode towards building an Atmanirbhar Bharat. In the same spirit, this bill aims to reduce India's dependence on foreign vessels, thereby preventing the outflow of foreign exchange. In doing so, it will catalyze local economic development, generate employment opportunities across coastal regions, and strengthen ease of doing business for Indian shipping operators. With the passage of the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025, India takes a decisive step towards building a seamless, efficient, and globally competitive coastal and inland shipping ecosystem. This landmark reform will unlock the immense potential of our coastline, enhance supply chain resilience, and drive economic growth in line with our national vision of Viksit Bharat.
Which is particularly unlock the full potential of India's vast and strategic coastline, which stretches over 11,098 kilometers across 9 coastal states and 4 union territories. To support the goal of growing India's coastal cargo share to 230 million metric ton by 2030, we need a framework that minimizes regulation while maximizing facilitation of growth opportunity in coastal trade. The Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 is designed to make coastal trade easier, more competitive and better integrated with India's overall transport vision. Sir, presently regulation and licensing of coastal shipping is governed by Part 14 of the Maritime Shipping Act 1958. The current bill provides a holistic, forward-looking and progressive legal framework suited to today's commercial realities in line with the globally prevalent cabotage practices. This bill is a part of the larger vision of our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi to undertake a series of legal reforms which in the past 11 years have led to increased growth and developmental of maritime and shipping sector. Honorable Sir, this bill contains 6 chapters and 42 clauses that mainly consist of provisions of licensing and regulations of foreign vessels in coastal trade, formulations of national coastal and inland shipping strategic plan, creation of a national database for coastal shipping. This bill will reduce the compliance burden for Indian ships in line with the mission of ease of doing business. If greater numbers of Indian ships handle cargo, it will ensure supply chain security for the country. This is very significant. Supply chain security for the country prevent escapement of countries' foreign exchange by reduced dependence on foreign ships and enable creation of blooming local economy with versatile employment opportunity. Easy accessibility to authentic and periodically updated data through the national database on coastal shipping along with information of the strategic plan for the development of infrastructure on coastal and inland routes will keep potential investors better informed about the development plan and policy priority of the government in the sector. Sir, with this, I want to request you, sir, This bill is very significant bills, very important, very reformative like kind of initiative, and I believe the members of the House will definitely help this bill to pass.
The question is that the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025 as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the motion is adopted.
Let's take a look at the highlights and key provisions of the bill.
Services to be also covered under coasting trade. Under the Act, coasting trade refers to the carriage of goods and passengers from one place or port in India to another. The bill expands this definition to include provisions of services. Services include exploration, research, and any other commercial activity except fishing. License for coasting trade and certain other purposes. The Act requires license for all vessels engaging in coasting trade. The bill states that vessels wholly owned by Indian persons will not need a license. For purposes other than coasting trade, the bill requires licenses for vessels that are not wholly owned by Indian persons. These are vessels that are hired by Indian persons, non-resident Indians or overseas citizens of India, and are operating between Indian and international ports or between international ports. OCIs hiring vessels for operating exclusively outside India will not require a license. The licenses will be issued by the Director General of Shipping, who is appointed by the central government. The Director General may permit a vessel registered under the Inland Vessels Act of 2021 operating in inland waterways to engage in coasting trade. Revocation of licenses. The Act empowers the Director General to modify or revoke licenses. The bill specifies the grounds for modification, suspension, or revocation of licenses. These include violation of terms of license or an existing law, or failure to comply with directions of Director General. Revision of penalties. Under the Act, engaging in coasting trade or taking a vessel to sea without a license is punishable with imprisonment of up to 6 months, a fine of up to 1,000 or both. The bill increases the maximum fine to 15 lakh or 4 times the gains from an unlicensed voyage, whichever is higher. The Act empowers the Director General to issue directions on subjects such as class of passengers or cargo that may be carried and diversion of routes. Failure to comply with its directions is punishable with imprisonment up to 6 months, a fine of up to 1,000 or both. The bill replaces the punishment with a civil penalty of up to 5 lakh rupees or 2 times the gains made from contravention, whichever is higher. The Director General may seek information on subjects such as transaction records and fares. Failure to provide details correctly or on time is punishable with imprisonment of up to 6 months, a fine of 500 or both. The bill increases the fine to 50,000 rupees. Vessels may be detained for certain offences. The bill also provides for detention of vessels as a punishment for certain offences such as operating without a license, violating directions of Director General, and providing false information. Compounding of offences. The Act allows all first offences to be compounded. Under the bill, only following offences will be compoundable: undertaking coasting trade without license or with an expired license, taking vessel into sea without license or failure to furnish information, or violating a detention order. Coastal and Inland Shipping Strategy Plan. The bill requires the central government to prepare a national coastal and inland shipping strategic plan within 2 years of the commencement of the Act. Powers to exempt. The central government may exempt any class of vessels from the application of the bill. With the passage of the Coastal Shipping Bill 2025, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways has successfully secured parliamentary approval for all 3 critical marine legislations: the Merchant Shipping Bill 2025, the Carriage of Goods by Sea Bill 2025, and the Coastal Shipping Bill, paving the way for a modern, efficient and self-reliant maritime ecosystem in line with vision of Viksit Bharat. The government has taken legislative reforms to modernize India's maritime sector. With these 3 bills, the ministry is trying to lay a foundation for a future-ready maritime ecosystem that supports Atmanirbhar Bharat and propels us closer to the goal of Viksit Bharat. With the passage of these landmark legislations, India moves a step closer to building an integrated, efficient and globally competitive coastal and inland shipping ecosystem.
Well, viewers, that's all we had for you in this edition. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to Sunset TV. Goodbye for now from my side.
माननीय सभासदों, माननीय अध्यक्ष जी,
आइटम नंबर 20, 21 और 22।
महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि भारत के संविधान का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए। महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि जम्मू कश्मीर पुनर्गठन अधिनियम 2019 का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की अनुमति दी जाए। महोदय, मैं प्रस्ताव करता हूं कि संघ राज्य क्षेत्र शासन अधिनियम 1963 का संशोधन करने वाले विधेयक को पुनर्स्थापित करने की मंजूरी दी जाए।
कर दिया। श्री असाउद्दीन ओवैसी जी।
Sir, I stand to oppose the introduction of J&K Reorganization Amendment Bill 2025, Union Territories Amendment Bill 2025, and the Constitution 130 Amendment Bill 2025, sir. Sir, this violates principle of separation of powers, due process, undermines the right of the people to elect a government. Sir, it gives executive agencies a free run to become judge and jury executioner based on flimsy allegations, suspicions, sir. Sir, only when an offence is proved beyond reasonable doubt then only you can leave the post and the membership. But here a mere accusation, allegation, the punishment of losing one ministerial post will follow. Sir, Parliament democracy's chief ministers or ministers can only be removed through true means. First, executive prime minister can recommend their removal if the second council of ministers lose confidence of the legislature. Now this bill would empower the unelected executive bureaucracy to play the role of legislature.